I'll just be real honest here because I'm one of those people that don't usually let go of anything or anyone. Don't take it the hard way. Chill with me. I usually forgive. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about resonating with someone like love at first sight, and traveling back and forth with the person, following the person everywhere, physically, online, and that kind of vibe, right? I'm that kind of person that I'm going to watch a movie and I like the movie. I'm going to check on the cast, the crew, their background story, things like that. Just count me as one of those kind of people. And that was my first encounter with Pastor T.D. Jakes. I've always known Pastor T.D. Jakes, but I never checked about his children, and I just loved his ministry. I mean, he was one that founded Woman That Was Loosed. The book is very, for those who have not read it, just try to get the book. And I decided, no, I didn't decide. I stumbled on a video when he was anointing Pastor Sarah Jakes Robert. That was his last child, for those who don't know her. So I stumbled on the video and I just watched it, and it was just random. It was just like a snippet of the full video of that sermon, of that program. I think after a while, I watched it on YouTube, the full video, and I just got magneted to a ministry like this. Like, it was like, this is so me, this is so real, this is so, this is something I want to resonate with. And I started, checking back and forth. I wanted to know her. I wanted to get to know how she lived her life. I wanted to get to know how she, how she manifested into the kind of person she is today, the SJR we all know today. And she has blossomed over time, over the years, blossomed into something that many people don't, many people would not have expected something like that from her. Then she was a teenage mom, being like a pastor's daughter. That's like, a popular pastor in Nigeria here. I'm not going to mention any name. And his daughter got pregnant at 13. So she's that kind of daughter, being a teenage mom, being a divorced. She got divorced at the age of 22. And she had like a chaotic, a life different from what was expected of a bishop's daughter. Coming from that part of her life to becoming someone who is holding the torch of the woman involved is something very alarming. And I genuinely feel that there are some things Pastor Sarah is not telling us, but hold up, she's telling us, but it's not really like straightforward. So she's telling us, but she's like, okay, you just have to study my life to understand, right? So that's like that kind of ministry. So I'm just going to give 5 things I feel like Pastor Sarah is not telling us personally, but is living through her life, like the SJR we all know. So before we go deep into that, I would like us to subscribe to this channel, because this is Bread and Wine with Omotola Jacob, and this is Omotola Jacob here. I hope you guys like my new haircut, because I think it's giving. But this is Omotola Jacob here, and welcome to Bread and Wine with Omotola Jacob. And here we live together, and yeah, welcome to living with me on today's episode. So today we're talking about Pastor Sarah Jakes Robert, and I said I'm going to give like 5 things I feel Pastor Sarah is not really telling us, which is the power of her gifts. For those who don't know, again, she started from blogging. After her divorce, she has 2 kids from different fathers. She started blogging her thoughts, not vlogging, blogging, writing down, penning it down, seeing if nobody. She doesn't even care if at that point in her life she never really cared on who was reading or who was not reading. She never really cared on who was judging or who was seeing her, but for the fact that she was able to utilize her gifts. So when she came out, publicly writing these things, posting them online, just doing her own stuff, people started resonating with her ministry, and people like, you know what, I'm like you, I'm just like you, you know what, I know someone that is just like you. So that kind of ministry, you understand. So she's someone who utilized the power of her gift for the glory of God, because I believe that if she was seeking to draw out her gift, or if she was seeking to use her gift for her own gratification, she will never be as vulnerable as she was. If you go way back to the kind of blogs she was posting back then, she was real vulnerable. She was real, she was at that point in her life that she was like, okay, God, I don't know what you're going to do through me, I don't know what you're going to do in me, but I just know that I'm yours and just yours alone. So she had come back, held back through and through, back and forth, and she was like, no, God, I'm just going to do you. I'm just going to do what you want me to do. But many of us are trying to we are trying to hold up our gifts, or we are utilizing our gifts basically because of our own need. I would like to think that I'm going to use my gifts for God, not for my own self, regardless of what anybody may think about me. I would like to think like someone who is ready to be used by God, regardless of what people feel about me, regardless of my past. And if someone like that, someone as prominent as that, is able to release herself, let go of our past, let go of our failures, let go of our disappointment, and it's just laying barefoot and saying, you know what, God, I'm going to just use what you've given me, regardless. I don't know what we are waiting for. I'm gonna eat it. So the second thing I feel Pastor Sarah is not really telling us is the power of vulnerability. It's kind of linked with the whole gift thing. She's using her gifts for sure. She's using her talent. She's using her gifts. We all know she writes, but she was real vulnerable in her write-up. I don't think you can encounter her blogs and not resonate with one thing she says. She's laying bare honest, and I can be vulnerable, but I'm not want to be very vulnerable out there to the world, because we get it, lots and lots of judgment. So if I'm someone who is being myself, if I'm someone who is ready to utilize my gifts, I am not someone who is ready to be vulnerable. And people can see vulnerability as a weakness, because I think it can be a weakness. But in that point, the weakness of our vulnerability grew into strength. I don't know if you guys watched a sermon, a video where she was preaching and her wig was about to fall off, and she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get this off me, and she removed that wig and she threw it. I'm about to take it off. But watching Pastor Sarah from afar, I've never met her physically. I'm going to meet her very soon by God's grace. But watching Pastor Sarah from afar has showed me that there is so much power in being vulnerable, letting yourself go, letting yourself out. It might not really be as much as you think it is, but trust me, there is one or two people that kind of like you, that are waiting for you to speak out. And that was one power she carried, and that is just like, okay, you know what, you guys are just gonna watch me and learn from me. The third thing I know that Pastor Sarah was not really telling us, or has not really told us, was the fact that she's such a lover girl. Regardless of how dirty we feel, regardless of how filthy we feel, regardless of how broken we feel or how disappointed we feel, I think the first step to becoming whole, the first step to becoming brand new, is the fact that we can start loving ourselves again, loving who we are, loving why God, loving the reason we are here on earth, loving our face, loving our mindset, loving everything that makes us you, loving what makes you. Because when you don't even love yourself at the first place, when you cannot accept your past in the first place, when there is nothing to give, right? You won't have any love to give, you won't have any love to transcend, and you will definitely not find love from other people apart from marriage and other stuff. But coming from a place of unworthiness and loving yourself despite it is one treasure, is one virtue that I find it really hard. I'm that kind of person that once I'm just like into some stuff, like I don't know if I'm the only one on this table, but I'm that kind of person that I'm laying barefoot, I've done something wrong, I would judge and condemn myself for days. The devil keep bringing these things to my thoughts. The devil keep bringing it to my heart, and it's hard for me to even let go and forgive myself. But when I watch Pastor Sarah, anytime I watch her, anytime I see her husband, anytime I see her, it's so evident that the devil's got nothing on her. She's that kind of person that the devil will wake up. I know the devil will be thinking about her back to back, because she has loved herself throughout. She has loved everything she has gone through. She has loved everything she has experienced. It was not easy. So loving yourself comes with a price, the price of loving Jesus first. So once you love Jesus first, you're accepting Jesus first, you are letting yourself believe that, okay, there is someone who loves me, someone who cares for me, someone who adores me, there's someone who is not willing to let go of me, and then I can live. I usually say this story around about a time of my life this year. It's not, I don't think it's up to 6 months. I was working in a place, and I was constantly being, put down in that place. Like, okay, I can't do this. I can't do this. And when I'm insulted, I feel I deserve it. Like I'm just at a point where I'm like, okay, you know what? I deserve the insult. I deserve whatever. Yes, I deserve it. I'm actually not serious. Like, I was accepting so much, so much, so much. And at that point I started bread and wine, but I stopped because I'm not like, I don't even perceive myself, I don't think this, you guys can even accept me. I don't think anybody can even subscribe to my channel. I don't think I don't think I have the voice. I don't think I have anything to say. And I stopped TikTok, I stopped everything. After a period of time, I was kind of laid off, and I was confused at first, but later I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. I was just at a point where I was still trying to process my thoughts. And I went for this program which my friend invited me for. She didn't invite me, it was online, but I was not sure on whether I was going to go or not. So when my friend was like, she's going to this program, like, okay, since I'm just going to be at home, let me just follow her. And when we got to the program, they did a call on, if people that are going through, kind of demonic attacks. So all my mind was like, maybe all these things are happening to me because of I'm being attacked spiritually. And I went for the altar call. When I got to the front, this pastor came to me. I don't know her before, I don't even know her name, and she just looked at me and she said, you know what, Jesus loves me. I cried, like, I don't know, like the channels of rivers of living water just popped through my eyes. And I remembered for a fact that I can say, like, for 3 months, like, backward, I'd forgotten that someone even loves me. I'm a Christian, I go to church every Sunday, I pray every day, I fast a lot, but I had forgotten one important aspect of my life. I've forgotten one important part of me that's supposed to remain with me forever. That someone actually loves me. Someone actually loves my brokenness. Someone actually loves my faults. Someone actually loves the fact that I can be unserious. Someone actually loves the fact that I'm imperfect. And I cried. I think for once, like, Jesus heard me. Like, I felt like Jesus just heard the fact that I think the camera. Okay, so I think that for one, Jesus just heard the fact that, daughter. Sorry, the camera is kind of. Okay, so for one, I felt like for one, Jesus could just hear the fact, like, daughter, I'm here, I love you. And that changed the trajectory of my life. Because right now, if I'm not really conscious or bothered about someone's love for me now, I'm like, if you don't love me, fine. If you love me, fine. Jesus loves me. And that was something that projected SJR to the limelight she is now. And one thing I think Pastor Sarah is not telling us, Pastor Sarah is highly fashionable. Like, once I start cashing out, like, once I have money, I'm going to she has some fashion styles that I'm like I'm going to copy this style. So Pastor Sarah is kind of fashion. She's very fashionable. She gives a good dispensation, like, you can love the Lord and still look good. You can love the Lord and still look beautiful. You can love the Lord and still look elegant. You can love the Lord and still look stunning. She looks stunning in every of her videos, every of her sermon. Just see her ministering and you're seeing beauty, you're seeing something, out of this world. And our kind of fashion is not your regular kind of fashion. If you know. So she's not really telling us the spice to the beautiful fashion styles she keeps showing, but I'm just going to put it out there, like, Pastor Sarah is very fashionable. And loving God doesn't limit your fashion sense. Loving God doesn't limit your fashion styles. Loving God even brings out, the beauty in you. And there is no way we are going to keep following God and we're not going to do it with ease. I know, right? Not only is she evolving as a person, she's carrying thousands and millions of women with her. And for real, if you are not part of our ministry yet and you want to evolve as a woman, this is one person you should just check. Just press SJR, just press Sarah, you see her, and this is one person you need to resonate to. This is one person you need to listen to, carrying the touch of grace upon your life, manifesting the prophecy over you. And it all came from, she laying it bare. She's surrendering to the fact that God has called her into leadership, God has called her into ministry, God has called her to lead, a huge group of women, to lead a huge group of ministry into redemption. Is something we cannot take for granted. As women want to evolve as a person, as women want to, escalate in whatever platform we find ourselves. I'm not talking to women, I'm talking to everyone. So guys, I'm here for all of us. So it's for women who want to escalate beautifully. No, for women again, sorry. I'm particular about the women, but for people who want to escalate beautifully out of the past, out of our mistakes, out of our our people's assumption of us, out of the judgmental functions about us. So she's someone you can just tune into and listen to, and she has been broken over time, resonating into something so beautifully. It's just a perfect example of the fact that God is always in our story. God is always in our in the details. God knows what he was doing when he allowed us to make that mistake. I am not giving this gives a freebie for us to now start making mistakes and say God knows. No, God knows what he's doing. He says that when you make mistakes here and there, not intentional mistakes, but when you make mistakes here and there, it's literally like, okay, this mistake is still part of your story. This mistake is still part of your identity, not your identity, but this mistake is something I want you to push out there. It's like, okay, I am here, I've done this. I am here, I've been addicted. I am here and I've been a teen mom. And I'm here and I've been, I've been shy. I am here, I've experienced low self-esteem. And I'm here and I've doubted. I'm here and I've left God. And I am still the same person that has left all these things for God to use me. On that note, I'm ending this vlog because this vlog is one of the most, I can say this vlog is one of the most impromptu vlog I've done in my whole life. But I'm really glad I got to do this because Woman Evolve is right on now. I'm just trying to get snippets of what is going on in Woman Evolve, and I'm like, I'm just going to talk about Pastor Sarah real quick. Thank you guys for watching. Please do well to subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'm Omotola Jacob, and we are living together, so stay tuned.